Cool. Welcome back to the second channel. It's been quite a while since I've gone live on the second channel. I usually go live. I've been going live on my main channel on Louis Steck, or on my main channel, Louis Steck. You can go check it out. It's linked somewhere on the second channel, I believe. You can just type my name and find the main channel there where I do my podcast. And I talked about this interview last night, but I want to get into. I want to watch this interview again, and I kind of want to just give like my thoughts. I kind of watched I haven't fully watched the entire thing, so I kind of want to get into like the whole. I want to talk about like the whole minutia of everything and like the reaction from everyone as well when it comes to this debate between Fuentes and Piers Morgan. So a lot to get into. It's pretty good. It's hilarious, and yeah, let's check it out. So cool. Don't mind this. Let's move this over. Okay. All right, we're cool. Sweet. All right. Sweet. All right, let's watch this thing.
Whether my assessment of that, which is that your father didn't want to take you to certain restaurants because of what you refer to as, they were commonly known as black fare, whether that attitude to African Americans.
I hope I don't get banned watching this. Not gonna lie. Just to say, I don't think I'll get banned. I think I'll be okay. Obviously, I'm commentating on this. We're going to go through the highlights. We're not going to watch the whole 2 hour. I mean, I'll try to watch as much as I can, but dude, it's going to be it's a lot to watch. And yeah.
In that instance, permeated to you. It's a reasonable question.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think everybody knows what that is, but I'll address it. I'll engage with it, and I'll defend my father from the charge of racism.
Sure.
No, my parents are not racist, and they've never been racist. I'll tell you about my parents. They used to have a school in Chicago in the South Loop where they instructed people on how to shoot firearms. It was a security school, and most of the clients were black. And I believe actually one of their clients was Larry Hoover's son at one point, sort of a funny story. And so most of their clients would come in from the South side of Chicago. My grandmother, she grew up in the projects in the city. And so my family being in Chicago, being ethnics, being Italian, Irish, Mexican, and the West Side on Taylor Street, all over the city. My family for many generations have lived near and around black people. And look, my views about black people and their views about black people are shaped with experiences with black people.
And you know what? I will say with this, when it comes to Nick and his views on this, I mean, I'm someone from Chicago as well. And, you know, what he's talking about right now, Pierce is so pissed off. He's so disgusted with Fuentes. Just, by the way, just looking at his face, dude, he looks pissed off. Like he wants to kill this kid. But yeah, man, like, you know what? Like, this is a big thing. Like when it comes to like Fuentes, and people ask, why is he the way that he is? And why is he so, I guess you could say, pissed off at the world? Why is he so frustrated? How did he get to be this way? And Pierce has no interest in understanding who Fuentes is. He has no interest in understanding why he is the way he is, really. He asks questions like, and this whole interview, we'll continue to go through this, but Pierce just plays gotcha this whole entire interview. He has no intention of wanting to understand Fuentes and why he is the way he is. I mean, he asks questions like, what's your background, blah, 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 blah. But it's more like, you said this. What do you mean by this? And then Fuentes is just, he doubles down the entire interview, and it's pretty funny.
And what they will tell you, what my parents would say if they were here, is that for many, many years, the older generations of black people were very respectful, very humble, very decent. In fact, my grandma used to have an anecdote. She grew up in a lot of dysfunction. Her mother was mentally ill, and they would be having dinner in the projects, and there'd be so much chaos. and dysfunction and disagreement and fighting. And she would look across the way out the window at a black family in the other apartment, and they'd be holding hands around the table saying grace. And this is sort of the culture that used to prevail. But now what you have in the city is that there's no accountability for the black people. And now Chicago has become a complete dump because these teenagers go out and they take over the city. They call them teen takeovers. That's the euphemism for it. They're teenagers, but they all come from the same neighborhood. They drive up there and they mug people and attack people, and they destroy cars and destroy shops. We had the Festival of Lights a couple of weeks ago. It's supposed to be a family event. And they light up the trees, and they, there's a big parade. I was in the parade one year, and you had a bunch of black people there shooting each other. 7 people shot, a 14-year-old killed in the Magnificent Mile. And I know there's a lot of black people that feel the same way about this. They say, we've lost control of the city, and we're looking for accountability. We have a lot of black people that are always outraged about racism, outraged about attitudes from white people, but they're never ashamed of some of these behaviors, never ashamed of some of the things that go on. And that's why I think there's a lot of negative attitudes these days. And so, again, I think those attitudes, you say I'm a product of my environment. I am. And so are my parents and my grandparents. Unlike you, because you're not even American, in Chicago, we have to live in a big, diverse city where there's a lot of different kinds of people. And I think anybody...
He's right. Dude, God bless it. He's right, man. He's so right. Coming from someone who is I'm a suburban kid from Chicago, but literally, I'm not going to give my exact, I'm not going to say all that, but dude, he's right about Chicago. 1,000%. 1,000% when it comes to Chicago, because Chicago is one of the most diverse cities you will ever live in. It is one of the most diverse cities. Any background from any type of culture, you name it, it's in the city of Chicago. And when it comes to, Nick, he's not wrong. I mean, and he brings it up here in this interview, and he talks about it where Pierre, this is the problem with Pierre. Dude, this is the thing with Chicagoans, and this is why Nick is such old school Chicagoan, because he's just dude, in this city, people get shot, they get murdered, they get killed. And essentially, this is something that, we have to, you have to just walk down the streets of Chicago, and this is just what it is. I mean, it's a horrible thing. You're nervous. You're freaking out. You're this is why Fuentes he judges biracial as harsh as he does, because he claims he does. Because he's just pattern recognition. Because he's if I go on the south side of Chicago at 2 a.m. and, it's pitch black dark outside, and he's I'm not going to be an idiot. Essentially what he's saying. And Piers Morgan is well, you're being racist and blah, 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 blah. Piers just seems he comes from this. He's obviously just a baby boomer who just comes from such a humongous amount of wealth, and he's just one of these old school liberals that just simply does not, just lives away from all the chaos that's happening in his own country. Now, he'll bring up, though, he lives, where he currently lives, and that he lives in the midst of all of this, but he doesn't. He's full of shit. He waves at it from afar.
Chicago tell you the same.
I live in London. It's one of the biggest and most diverse cities in the world.
But it's not the same.
Well, actually, it's a big, diverse city. The only difference is we don't have the gun violence because we don't have guns. That's a whole different story. I don't want to get into that with you. I have got into that before in America.
You got a knife problem. You got sword problems.
We have problems with
Aladdin.
We have problems with violent crime.
Dude, he just said they have Aladdin. That's great.
I make no pretense of it. So the idea that somehow I'm cosseted in London because I'm not in Chicago.
I didn't say that.
Well, you kind of implied it, but I guess my point about the environment, I'm not saying you are a product of your environment. I'm saying most people are in some capacity. When I read that anecdote, which just to remind you, it's not something I have put out there. You told this story, right? And you said that
you said this. We're looping. You said this already.
But you haven't really directly, I think, responded to it, which is whether your father would not take you to certain restaurant chains because he associated them with black Americans. Is that true?
No, well, See here, if you're in America, you would say that Olive Garden is not real Italian food. Applebee's, TGI Fridays, this stuff is a load of crap. My dad was just a food snob, but no, it's got nothing to do with that. My best friend in first grade was a black guy. We're not a racist family. So
okay, so when you told the story,
yeah, see, this is what Piers is obviously trying to do this through this entire interview, is basically just paint the picture that Nick is just clear. Like, I think from what I've gathered so far from this interview and from what I've already watched is that simply Pierce's definition of racism is way different than Nick's definition of racism when it comes to, you know, they have two different definitions when it comes to the both of them. Nick's definition of racism is simply, if you look at someone based off how they look and you hate them and you feel anger, you're an idiot who's a racist. Whereas with Pierce, if you simply just say things, or you basically go into pattern recognition, is what they talk about here soon in the interview. That's racist. Or if you say things a certain way, you're labeled as a racist. So they clearly have both. They both have two different definitions.
I'm just curious. So when you told that anecdote, which clearly on the face of it is racist, right? You're basically saying your father made racist decisions about where you would go as a family to eat. Are you saying,
No.
well, I'm just going to ask you a question. Are you saying that when you told that story, you didn't mean to infer that he was racist? And do you understand why when somebody like me reads that anecdote for the first time, as I did this week, I reach a different conclusion?
Well, I understand what you're doing, which is a sort of making of a murderer. How did he become racist? Well, his father didn't eat an Olive Garden because he said that's not real Italian food. Hang on, can I? What's with the interruptions? Can I explain?
I'm literally reminding you of something you said on your show, which led me to conclude a certain thing. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Yeah, it was said in jest as a humorous anecdote, and now you're trying to spin it into a narrative, which is his parents are racist. He comes from a long line of racists. And I think everybody knows my parents are boomers. Mm-hmm. And these people come, well, you're a boomer, I guess, too, in a way,
60.
right? You were born in what, 19? Yeah. So you're a boomer also. Or maybe you're a Gen Xer. I suppose it's sort of on the cusp. But it's a humorous anecdote. These are kind of the attitudes of baby boomers in society. But you're trying to spin it into a narrative, which is you're a product of your environment. Your dad's racist because of this joke. Now you're a racist. And I don't think that's a fair characterization.
Okay. People can make their own minds up. They can go back and listen to you say it. I mean, the beauty of what I'm going to talk to you about in this interview is that almost all of it is just going to be reminding you what you have said and asking you what you meant. Your position about that story is that it was a joke, okay? I want to come to something else you said. This is where you talk about Jews, women, and blacks. Let's just take a listen.
Dude, he already... Look at his face, man. Look at his face. He's this is look at Nick's face. Dude, it is just he's just dude, he just knows where it's going. Obviously, like, he's joking. Like, he doesn't say he's joking in this clip. He's being serious, but well, screw it. Let's watch the clip. Screw it.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
Okay. Would you like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, all of them?
Dude.
No, for the most part.
What does the most part mean? What percentage of American blacks would you like to see in prison?
Dude, it is wild. I mean, dude, the balls on this guy is actually out. It is nuts. It is nuts. It is absurd that, I mean, the fact this guy's saying this online, I mean, hey, you know, he's leading a movement. It is fucking nuts. It is nuts. But it is, I mean, that is funny. You could hate what he said there. You could hate what he said, but that is funny.
whatever the percentages of the murderers. I think it's 1 in 20 black men will commit a murder in their lifetime. So maybe let's say that 5%.
Oh, so you're talking about black people who murder people?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But you didn't say that.
That's
You
the
just
crime
said
problem.
blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. You didn't clarify that you were talking about black murderers.
Right. No, you're right. That's a good addition to that. That's a great point.
Do you think it's funny or?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hilarious. I think it's totally true.
Do you think a black American would find it funny? You think that blacks should be imprisoned?
Dude, his face says it all. Dude, oh, this is just too good. I mean, yeah. I've seen video. You go watch videos on YouTube where there are a lot of like black men that find this pretty funny. They find it hilarious. They do. They find it funny. I mean, they do.
Imprisoned for the most part.
Blacks are my biggest fans. I get high fives all the time. They say, Nick Fuentes, I love your show. They agree with me. And you want to know why? Here's the difference. Black people are the most victimized by other black people. You think black people want to live in the hood and the ghetto and get shot all the time? That's what happens in the south side of Chicago. You should come here. I'll take you there. We could go to Garfield Park.
My son went to Chicago
Inglewood.
University for a year, actually, several years ago.
Yeah, that's a bubble. That's a bubble. You think you're in Chicago and Hyde Park? You don't know Chicago. Go a little bit west, see what it's like over there. And I'll tell you, black people agree with me because they're tired of it too. And maybe not most of them, but a lot of them agree with what I say about that because they know how it is. That's why the first thing they do when they make a little bit of money is they go and leave to another neighborhood.
Okay, so what was just
around.
Remind me again, the percentage of...
He's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong, dude. Like... It's bad, dude. It's bad on the south side and the west side of Chicago. And, like, nothing is getting done to fix this at all. It's a really, really... It's really bad. I mean, when it comes to the murder rate in the city, and, you know, you see a large majority of it is black on black crime. I mean, that's just obviously what it is. And a huge, a lot that goes into why that is you look at the schooling system, you look at the education system in the city of Chicago, it's very piss poor. You look at our current mayor, the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, that he's a part of the teachers union. There's allegedly some money laundering schematics going on. And this is why Chicago's so screwed up. It's just the biggest thing as to why our city is so poorly run is due to the corruption. It's just the corruption, and that is why our city is so bad. And yeah, Fuentes is right here, man. I mean, he is spot on when it comes to why our city is just overrun and why a large majority of it is black on black crime, and why a lot of people that live in the hood, they're ready to get out. They don't want to stay there because simply, I mean, there have been many times where in the city, in the inner city of Chicago, many young girls that got caught in the crossfire when it comes to shootings happening in the city. People just getting caught in the crossfire, or when they're driving their car. I mean, people get killed, they get shot. So it's bad news, man.
Black men who commit murder in America. What was the percentage you gave me?
It's 1 in 20. 1 in 20.
It's 1 in 100.
No, it's 1 in 20.
No. Less than 1 in 100 black US men commit murder. That's the most up-to-date crime statistics in America.
That's not true. I've seen other statistics. They say 1 in 20 will eventually commit a murder.
So your rate means that you're saying that 5 times as many black men commit murder as the official crime statistics say.
Yeah, there's a report, I believe, on X by Data Hazard. I'll have to go and double check that for you. But yes, there's some pretty shocking evidence that says that it's far more alarming than you would think.
Okay, but you would accept that the official crime statistics are 1 in 100, or you wouldn't accept that statistic?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but I've seen other evidence. Like I said, Data Hazard on X, I believe, produced a report about a year ago. It said 1 in 20. But, I mean, whether it's 1 in 20 or 1 in 100, that's a lot of people, Piers. I mean,
sure,
this is
a lot of white
problem.
people commit murder too. Well, they do, don't they?
Okay, but it's about proportionality. I mean, white people are 65% of the population. Blacks are 13%. And I think anybody would tell you that more black people proportionally commit violent crime than white people. And people vote with their feet. People would rather pay a much higher property tax.
Most mass shootings.
What's with the interruptions?
I'm sorry.
Dude, He hates him, bro, with a passion. He hates him. Dude, absolutely despises him. I mean, just the pure look of like, I hate you. I hate that you're on my show right now. I wish you were not on my show, but I have to do this. And look at this, bro. Like, look at, I mean, the money rolling in right now from these ads right now for this show. Almost 3 million views in less than a day. I mean, rolling in cash. I mean, that's when your morals go out the window and you throw that's when you start to have these people on. But here's the thing though, like Piers Morgan has had big names or like controversial figures in the past and he's interviewed them. So I get that. But when it comes to this, I mean, it's like, I don't know, dude. It's just, he just hates him, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, you look at in Chicago, in New York, these neighborhoods are so stratified. People would rather pay a high tax rate. They'd rather pay a much higher property value to live in a less diverse, less black neighborhood because they don't want to live around the violence. And I think that when you look at even on the public transit, the subway, the blue line, you know, people don't want to go there because they know who occupies and menaces the public transit. It is these people like Daniel Penny had to deal with. It's people like Irina Zarutska had to deal with. And that's just the uncomfortable reality.
You've also said you don't want to live near black people. Let's take a listen to this clip.
I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. You know, I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry. It's racial for me. And call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a fuck.
Dude.
I mean, it couldn't be clearer, really, unless you want to say that's another of your jokes. But you're basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment. Everybody else is racist.
But earlier in the interview, you really got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatically
because
sure he's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to the everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right. So maybe everybody. The difference is you're attacking my father. You know, he could get fired from his job.
I'm not attacking your father.
You are.
No, I'm not. I don't know your father. And to be clear, I have no knowledge about him at all.
Well, then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick. You put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you of what you told everybody, millions of people, about your father. If you now want to retract it, fine. If you want to say it was a joke, which is what your position was earlier, fine. But I'm allowed to put to you things you've said publicly. That's not unfair. That's not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out there.
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'm asking you about a pretty shocking anecdote, which to me looked like you were saying your father made decisions about where you as a family would eat based on skin colour of people who worked at these places. If you say, or use them, if you say that is not what you meant, that's fine. You can respond any way you like. But the idea I can't ask you about it without you saying I'm attacking your father is ridiculous.
Celebrate the 12 days of fitness at Planet Fitness.
Man, I mean,
join
like,
for $1 down, $15 a month. Offer ends December 19th.
When you get in your car, you just need to put...
I mean, yeah. I mean...
Well, you are, and you know what you're doing.
Dude, when it comes to the... I mean, this... You know... I mean, it is fascinating, and it is so crazy. I mean, this is... Piers Morgan right now, I mean, this is just... He's just typically playing gotcha right here. And with Nick... I mean, he's bringing up his father. Now, Nick has talked about his father in the past on his live stream. I mean, it's... from what I'm gathering, it doesn't seem like Piers is trying to attack his dad. I don't know. It doesn't from what it seems like. I'm not sure, but let's continue to listen.
And there's a political culture in America where if you have the wrong views, you get fired from your job. And my father has a job. And if you go on here and say, you charge him with racism or something, and I'm put in a position where I don't look like I'm sticking to my guns if I don't say my father's a racist, you're putting him in jeopardy, and he's not here to defend himself or explain his views. And it's very low, and I think you know exactly what you're doing, and people can see what you're doing. I'll defend my views, and I think that, you know, so let's leave him out of it. Let's just not talk about my father, because my father isn't here. I'm here.
Okay, well,
I'll
then do you
defend
accept
my
that you
views,
shouldn't
and I'll
talk?
defend
Okay,
the anecdote.
listen, that's fine. But then do you accept you shouldn't talk about your father on your show? And you shouldn't tell...
Absolutely not. Absolutely
so
not.
So it's fine for you to put a story out there which would make most people who listened to that story or watched it at the time on your show conclude that he was racist. It's fine for you to do that. But if I then ask you about it, I'm the one who's being unfair and I've crossed a line. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're being malicious.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, people are watching this live. They can draw their own conclusions about whether what I just did...
And they will.
Yeah, and I'm sure afterwards, by the way, you'll say, he ambushed me.
I mean, yeah, I need to watch the clip on that as to what Nick was saying in the clip and how he said it, if he was kidding or not. I mean, what has his dad had to say, or what he's learned from his dad. That seems more like gotcha. And it is right by Nick, where he's like, because his dad probably works a job and, you know, he doesn't want to get fired from his job, obviously. So it makes sense as to why, you know, he would, you know, obviously he doesn't want his dad to be, you know, those types of views expressed where he could get fired.
With your own words.
Whoa.
With your own words.
That's a little presumptuous. I'm not going to say it's an ambush, but I think that's a low blow. And I think you know what you're doing, and that's fine. You're a tabloid journalist. I expected that. I don't think it's an ambush because I knew it would be like this. And people will see what you're doing, and I think they'll say it's low. But as far as you want to talk about racism, I do. Let's talk about racism.
Okay,
let's leave my dad out of it.
Look, you've admitted you're a racist, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Own it.
Okay, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled in a free democratic society to stare down the barrel of his camera and tell me you're a racist. People can judge you accordingly. Many people who have assumed that you're a racist will now have heard it from your own lips. That's fine.
There you go.
That's the point. The point of this interview is to go over...
Dude, Nick just does not care, dude. He does not give a shit about that anymore, dude. He's so far past that. He just simply does not give a fuck that this is the clear prime example of what Gen Z versus the boomers are right now, where the boomers are like, oh, they're so like liberal hoity-toity bullshit, all that bullshit. And Nick is at the point he's like, call me a racist, whatever, sure, fine. Like, obviously Piers right now is like, I got you, you know, in terms of that gotcha journalism style. But with Fuentes, he's just like, dude, I don't give a shit.
The things you've said, which have led people to reach conclusions about you and to ascertain whether those conclusions are fair and reasonable or not. That's it.
Thank
I want to
you.
play you another clip. This is what you talk about, why white people are justified in being racist. Let's take a listen to this.
First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
You stand by that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So white people should go out of their way to avoid black people when they see them.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's coming. See, this is two different perspectives here. Because this is a kid from basically Chicago. And if you're in the inner city or if you're around in the city, it's like, okay, yeah, valid. But I don't know. Let's continue to listen to what he has to say.
Absolutely. They would be wise.
Why?
Because it's a lose-lose proposition. If you're Irina Zarutska and you don't walk the other way, you get stabbed to death and you die. If you're somebody else and you walk on the subway and you stand near a black person or something, maybe it's fine. It's a lose-lose proposition. So, no, I think that white people I think that white people have been beaten into submission, that we're afraid to tell the truth about it. And the truth is that when you go into these major cities like New York or Chicago, I believe she was in North Carolina, there is a menace, which is young, Black, adolescent men. They're extremely violent. And we have been told that we have to pretend like they are every other person. We have to be colorblind to that. And we're supposed to go and be in the midst of all this danger. And I think that at this point, it's gotten out of control. You look at the BLM movement, they said that the reason that Black people, are violent, or the reason there's crime, is because of police brutality, or redlining, or all these other things. They said we need to get rid of the police. We need to defund them. And a lot of cities did. A lot of cities like Chicago, for example, the police changed the rules of engagement. They don't chase them. It's not a felony if you steal a certain amount of merchandise. They won't chase them on foot. And now the city's totally up for grabs. And now, whether you're in the Gold Coast, or whether you're on the Mag Mile, or you're in the worst neighborhoods in the city, you might get shot, you might get mugged, someone might run up on you. And I tell my followers, it is better to be perceived as racist or racist and walk the other way and maybe keep your life, than to say, I'm a good anti-racist. I don't mind that this person's making me uncomfortable. Maybe he's looking a little froggy. I'm going to sit down because I'm a good person, and get stabbed, mugged, whatever. And by the way, this is a strategy. They call it the friendly stranger. There's a crew of them. They do this in Chicago. They stand outside bars, Black people. They approach strangers. It's a robbery crew. And they pretend to be a friendly stranger, and then they mug them. And stupid white people say, oh, hi, yeah, nice to meet you. They grin, they laugh, they put up with the nonsense, and then they get mugged. Or
he is so fucking right. Dude, he is so right on this. It's so, it drives me crazy, because this is where guys like Piers Morgan have no fucking clue what Chicago is like and what the city is like at all. Has no clue. This is true. Everything Nick is saying right now in this clip, he is 1000% correct. This is what happens in the city of Chicago. And with the recent defunding of the police, crime has escalated, with more people being shot, murdered, and being robbed. He's right.
Worse. Sometimes they get executed. And
Out
so
of
as a white
interest,
person,
how do you feel about mass shootings at school?
Right. So then we go, okay, yeah. So then he makes the move into, okay, let's start talking about mass shootings. Let's get off the topic of Chicago and all these cities that are, let's get into the mass shooting subject. So this is obviously a clear steer as to what he's trying to do here. Obviously, it's clearly gotcha bullshit, whatever. It's so stupid.
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass
It is
shootings?
bad.
I'm sure it's white people.
It's a bad problem.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
I think that white people do more antisocial violence. I think Black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference.
What's the difference to the victims?
There's no difference to the victim, but it's a different kind of crime, and it's a different proportion also. Do you know what percentage of white people are school shooters?
I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men. And I'm
And
just
what proportion of what proportion?
I'm curious.
What proportion?
I'm curious whether your advice would be to people who have kids in
Wait,
these
is my
schools.
mic working?
What
proportion?
Should they avoid white people at school? Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men at school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more Black people proportionally that engage in violent crime or are involved in gangs, especially in these major cities, than there are white people that are school shooters compared to the entire white population. And everybody understands that.
Two-thirds of mass shootings at school perpetrated by white people.
But what proportion of white men commit school shootings? That's the question.
I've just told you. It's 60-65% of school shootings by white people.
You're telling me what proportion of school shootings are committed by white people. I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings. Are you playing dumb, or are you just not that smart?
What difference
What's
does
the
that make
difference?
to the children lying dead on the ground?
See, now you want to jump on the victims. The difference is you're asking, would you fear white people or Black people? And that's the difference. The difference is in terms of...
Holy shit, dude. Like, this is the problem with Pierce, man. Dude, playing so stupid. Oh, Dude, he's cooking right now. Nick is cooking for sure.
Is by your logic, if we now have agreed that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools are committed by white people and predominantly young white men, then presumably your advice would be to avoid young white men because they perpetrate these massacres. But it won't be because they're white, right?
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because well, I don't think you are dumb. I think you're smart actually, but you're deliberately avoiding per capita. And everybody knows that's the difference. What proportion of white men are school shooters? It's probably 0.00001%. What proportion of black men have committed violent crimes? It's probably like 5%. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's very high. And I would add to that, even as it concerns schools, why do you think parents pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people? Because they know that if they go to the black school, it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips. It's going to be gangs. It's going to be, you talk about school shootings. Nobody talks about all the school shootings that are committed by gangbangers in and around the school and all the other violence that's associated with that. I mean, these schools in the south side of Chicago, it's just not livable.
I have an answer for you, Nick. So the proportion of the population.
Dude, he's right. He is so right on that. Again, with the south side of Chicago and how bad it is as a part of the city, nobody's moving to the south side and nobody's moving to the west side of Chicago. It's just not happening, It's just not.
Who carry out mass shootings is actually the same for black and white.
For white people, the proportion of
the proportion
again,
of the population.
are you hearing it? No.
So I think the trouble with your
proportion?
statistics is a lot of them don't bear much scrutiny. We have a bunch of fact checkers checking all this in real time because you do have a tendency to just come out with a lot of old baloney. And when you say,
okay,
well, it's true. And when you're confronted with reality,
figure?
you don't like it.
What's the figure? What proportion of white people have committed school shootings? With white people as the denominator and white people that have committed school shootings as the numerator, what's that percentage?
For both black and whites, the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings generally is about the same.
No. Tell me the number, and then
the only focus of your attention is the black shootings, the black crime. You don't want to live around black people. You want to avoid black people. You don't want interracial marriages or relationships that may produce black people. And yet, when I point out to you that there are many parts of crime in America where actually there's a majority of white people that perpetrate them, you don't care. You don't have any interest in that. It doesn't exercise your mind. Maybe because
no one's buying this. This
kids.
Argument lost. No one is buying this. Everybody understands per capita, and people can even see what you race ahead and say, well, we're comparing the proportion of white and black school shooters. I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue.
He's right, dude. Again, he's right on that point. Dude, he's 1000% right. I mean, that is true. Like Piers is kind of playing again. He's playing this gotcha bullshit, and he's just totally like trying to avoid what Fuentes is bringing up per capita. Bring that up, dude. What's the number? Say the number. He doesn't want to say that number.
Is that you're very likely, if you encounter black people or a young black man in the city, that you're going to be the victim of a violent crime, of a robbery, a mugging, a car theft, a carjacking, or a murder. That's the difference, and it's about proportionality. And everybody sees past that because we all live in reality. You want to talk about product of your environment. People that live in New York, Chicago, LA, we live in reality. We live in this environment, and we see what it's like. And the threat, the danger in terms of probability it's not even comparable. And I would say this to your point. If you're in a high school and truly, if you see a white person who looks like a little autistic, he's got the SSRI stare and he reaches for a backpack.
All right. So
people joke and say, run. Similarly, if you see a jalopy pulling up with a bunch of black people in it and they got their pants around the ankles, you're going to run also. And I'm saying the same thing. The difference is The latter happens much more often. It's much more common. You know, in Chicago, there's like 10,000 carjackings and car thefts every day. It's in the thousands. It happens all the time. How many mass shootings committed by autistic SSRI white people? I don't even know. I mean, it's probably in the single digits in the last decade in this city. That's the difference, and everybody knows that. But you're really just trying to carry water for liberal ideology. It's an ideological position.
I'm really not.
He's right again. He's right on that front. I mean and he's true. Like, it is true when it comes to, like, when Nick brings up the fact of, like, yeah, it's typically white autistic kids that are committing mass shootings on a grand scale. And we do have a lot of those, and it is a big problem. But when comparatively to the amount of crime that's happening in the city of Chicago, it's much larger. He's not wrong.
Absolutely say, yes, there is way too much black on black crime, for example, involving guns in Chicago.
And black on white also.
Yes, but there is way too much gun violence in Chicago, right? I mean, it's indisputable. I've got no problem saying that. The difference is I don't then lead myself into a thought process where I have to avoid all black people in case they shoot me. And you've already conceded that you are a racist. So when people hear you then say, I don't want to be living anywhere near black people, they already have heard you say, I'm a racist, so they assume you're doing that because of people's skin color. I don't think you would probably dispute that, right?
When I first started, everything was very antiquated.
I mean, so he's not wrong. I mean, this is, and we're going to skip ahead here in a second with this interview, but from what I've seen so far, it's just typically it's just purely gotcha. It's such gotcha bullshit when it comes to this interview between Piers and Nick. Well, let's move this up here. It's just such gotcha bullshit, and it's so dumb, and it is just purely. It just is. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't bring out like any. Like, obviously, Piers is challenging and like going hard in the paint against Nick right now, and challenging him on that front. But I mean, Nick is correct, man. I mean, he's like totally. I mean, I don't want to sound like I agree with Nick on everything. I don't. I mean, there are some things I do disagree with Nick on, but I do feel that from what I've seen so far in this interview, a lot of it is just Piers going to that liberal ideology where he's just simply trying to make it, I don't know, like he's just trying to do that gotcha bullshit, and it's just not working.
Live around black people. That was after Irina Zarutska got shot, and it's true. I mean, they are a largely in this city in Chicago, the South Side, the West Side, huge criminal population, and I don't want to live anywhere near it. And I do. I want to live in a white neighborhood. I think that that's extremely desirable, and I think even black people.
Again, Nick, you're perfectly entitled to that view. But when you have obviously prefaced all this by saying I am a racist, unashamedly, then people will assume that all your thought processes about all of these issues are driven by an aversion to people based on their skin color, which is the purest personification of racism.
Well, it's not an aversion. I would say it's the opposite. I like my own people. My own people are familiar to me, and I think that's true across the board. I think that people seek out other people that are like themselves, and every other group does this, whether it's blacks, Hispanics, Asians. You know, I get a lot of attacks when I talk about that I'm against interracial marriage. And what's funny is that every other group is against interracial or interethnic marriage. Jews,
but you're the
Chinese,
you're the product of an
Hispanics.
interracial marriage.
Yeah, I mean, that's debatable.
Not
Let's
really.
say for the sake of argument, sure.
No, you're the product of an interracial marriage, and your father is part Mexican. You're literally,
for the sake of argument,
the very person you've just told me you want to avoid.
What race is Hispanic? Is that a race?
Well, what do you think it is?
I'm asking you, what race is Hispanic?
Hispanic, of course it's a race. It's called Hispanic.
it's a mix between two races. It's a mix between indigenous Americans
It's not white,
and
though,
Europeans.
is it? It's not white.
Well, you're apparently you're more of a racial purist than me. You got like
Not
a
really.
one-drop
You just
rule
keep
thing
saying you
going.
only want to
Kind
live in a
of.
white neighborhood, but you're literally from a mixed race background yourself. You've literally
and I
got
live in
Mexican blood.
I know, and I live in a non-white neighborhood too. I'm trying to get out of here, though. But I'm trying to get out. But here's the thing.
Do you have any non-white? Do you have any non-white friends? Genuine question.
Most of my friends are non-white. Most of my friends are not, and non-white people love my show because they respect
black?
the honesty.
How many of your friends are black?
Many of them, like at least a dozen.
Wow.
Ye being one who you know, Sneeko being another who you also know.
Yeah. And so how do they feel when you say you just want to be away from any black people, walk away from them?
Well, you know what Ye told me? I'll tell you verbatim what he said. That it doesn't come from a place of, and you use the word aversion. That's the.
Oh, dude, they added it. They added it out. Oh, dude, lame. What happened to Piers Morgan being uncensored? That's lame. All right, let's skip ahead. Let's move on towards the end. So that's a good majority of what I wanted to watch so far. I can't get into the whole thing, this whole 2-hour interview, but yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch towards the end here.
Into the machines, I think that was ridiculous. However, what has to be accounted for is that in 2016, 35% of the votes were cast by mail. By 2020, it was 70% because of the pandemic. So you doubled the amount of votes that happened by mail. They called it in-person early voting. They called it a variety of different things. And the other thing that they changed is they solicited the mail-in ballots. So they sent ballots to people's houses. And once you do that, I mean, you have absentee balloting normally, but it's a process. You got to give your social security number, your ID. They send it to you. There's regulations in place. This is an election where they double the amount of mail-in votes, and they sent ballots to people's houses. And when you do that, you break the chain of custody. So they send the ballot out, and then they tell people return it at a 24-hour ballot drop site that's unsupervised. There's thousands of them, and they're going to hope that all the ballots that find their way into these drop boxes were filled out by the person that the ballot was intended for. And I know that didn't happen. I'll tell you why. My uncle has been dead for 26 years. He got a ballot in 2020. It was mailed to my parents' house. And you know that was happening in nursing homes. You know that was happening in apartment buildings.
But you also know that every independent body that has looked at this has concluded there was no widespread rigging, that it was a free and fair election, and Trump lost. And the bottom line is he should stop going on about it anyway, because he won back the White House in 2024. By your, I mean, well, as you have been so keen to tell me, move on, right? No one wants to look back too far.
That's a separate argument. I mean, you can say that he should stop talking about it, but whether it was rigged or not is actually relevant to what happened on January 6th, because what happened on J 6th is people were outraged about it. People were furious that, by the way, there's never been an independent ballot audit in all the states where there was alleged to be rigging. That has not happened. And certainly it did not happen up until January 6th. And people said, this is ridiculous. They're stealing it. You know, there was that
people,
red
honestly,
mirage.
if either you or Donald Trump or anybody else wants to show me, I said this to him when I interviewed him last, you know, if you show me the actual hardcore, incontrovertible evidence, then great. I've never seen it. Joe Rogan asked him. He didn't produce it with Joe Rogan. It's just never been produced. But look, I don't want to labour the point on that. So I suppose the more interesting question now, as your influence rises in the conservative movement in America, and there's a lot of splits going on amongst MAGA over on.
Yeah, that shit was a little. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, there are some those ballot boxes when it comes to certain people that were unalived or they were no longer alive. Were basically, receiving ballots to their addresses, and he's not wrong. That happened actually to my grandfather. It's no good.
Number of issues, and about you, and you know this, is your split with Trump irrevocable? Do you feel now, as we head towards the year of the midterms, that it's time to now look to who his successor will be, and who do you think that person should be?
Well, it's not irrevocable, but I am very pessimistic about this administration. And succession is something that I've been interested in for as long as I've been doing this show. And I think it's very clear that they are grooming J.D. Vance to be that successor. And by they, I mean Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Peter Thiel. There seems to be an organization that was put in place roughly around 2022 when Peter Thiel was very active in the midterm elections. He spent, I think, over $30 million, $15 million for Vance, $15 million for Masters, spent a lot of money in a lot of other congressional races, trying to unseat the Republicans that voted for impeachment in 21, and also building out a media market, building out a patronage network, funding things like Passage Press, Sovereign House, a number of other projects to create sort of like a self-contained media ecosystem. And Vance is clearly the selected nominee. That is who the interests want. And they've been pushing for him very strongly. So I think he's the heir apparent right now. There's a forceful push. I've heard good things about him. I've heard bad things about him too. And where I think it needs to go is I think we need to return to the message from 2016, what Trump said in the first election, which is we need to drain the swamp. We need to get the money out of politics, the super PACs, the special interests, put America first in foreign policy, and the wars.
He's right. He's totally right. You know, this is, yeah, we're not seeing that happening right now in terms of getting the money out of politics. It's still very much so involved. And he's right, man. He's definitely right.
Close the border and deport the illegals and reindustrialize America, bring back manufacturing, bring back jobs. We're in this Cold War with China. We need America to have productive capacity again. We need America to have wealth. So I think whoever is going to bring us back to that, that's who I'm going to support. And I haven't seen enough from Vance yet.
You called J.D. Vance's wife a Jeet. What does that mean?
It's a slur for Indians.
Why would you use that?
Well, you want the honest answer?
Because you're a racist?
No, there's actually a different reason. The reason why I said that, if you watched the whole show, did you watch that whole show, by the way?
No, but you've admitted you used that slur. I'm just curious why you would use that about a woman with her heritage.
I'll tell you, there's a really important reason why, and this is why context matters. If you look online at the people that are supporting J.D. Vance the most, they are racist. They're racist also, let's say. And they look at someone like myself. I don't support J.D. Vance. And they say, you're brown. You're a third worldist. They are gleefully participating in the cruelty. You could say the performative cruelty of the Trump administration. They say, you're going back. You have 100 days until you're being deported. You're going in a crystal. And then they tell us to vote for J.D. Vance. And so all I did on the show is I said, you have basically racist chuds that post memes about Indians all day on Twitter, memes about third worldists and Palestinians even. But then they
see, this is the one thing that I'm like, see, this is something that I wouldn't agree with Nick on here, which is, yeah, I don't think it's right to call his wife that. I don't think there's no point, and he was just doing it. I think he was making a joke, and I don't think that was something that he should have done. I don't think so. I don't think it was worth it. It's not worth it. It's not smart. It's not right. I disagree with him on that. I don't think he should have done that.
Want to turn around and support a guy who has said on Twitter, how dare you say I'm racist? I have non-white kids and I'm in an interracial marriage. And all I said is I just said that's a little ironic. I said that's hypocritical. And Vance is going to have to explain to all of his supporters who have gassed him up as the real mass deportation candidate. He's going to have to explain to them what's going on with that. What is with the contradiction? Because
and you
it is
don't
a
feel any
contradiction.
accountability for the millions of young people that will hear you use that slur and think it's fine to use it?
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Okay. Let's take a final break and come back with a little kind of summary of how you think this interview has gone for you.
Okay.
If you're a fan of epic fantasy, Arthurian...
Yeah, he hates his guts, man. He absolutely hates his guts with a passion. He just does not like Nick. Hates him with a fucking passion, man.
You wanted it to go, and I was fine with it. So I thought it was terrific.
As a Catholic, you're probably aware the Jerusalem Post has recently called on the Pope to openly condemn you. Would it matter to you if the Pope did? He's an American Pope, obviously.
It would be very disheartening, yes.
Why?
Because he's our spiritual leader. He's the head of the church. He's the vicar of Christ. So if
He's also from Chicago too. You know, that would be a real bummer for Nick. He's away. I don't know if Nick's a White Sox fan. I would imagine so. Maybe not. But Pope Leo's a White Sox fan. He's from Chicago, and yeah, the Pope would. If the Pope were to announce Nick would be super bummed. I mean, he'd have to be pretty bummed about that.
if he condemned me, that would be very disheartening. And it would depend upon what he would say exactly. But yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that
If
at
he
all.
condemned you because you've openly admitted to being a racist on this show?
Oh, you know, this racist, I would be disappointed if he said that, because I think that word racist, it means something different to everybody. And so I think that's just silly. I think that's just semantic.
Have you ever been in love in your life?
No, like romantically, no.
Yeah, never.
No.
Do you think that's part of the problem?
What's the problem?
Why you are the way you are?
Oh, and what's the way I am? What are you trying to say?
I've given people 2 hours of the way you are. You're unashamed about a lot of it.
I don't think I have a problem. I think I'm cheerful, boisterous. Look, unlike you, I'm willing to be a little well, I guess you're willing to be provocative, but I'm willing to be very provocative, and I'm a free thinker. And I don't like to be tone policed. I don't like to be told about, you know, people are going to tone police and play moral cop about you can't make this joke or you can't make this statement. And I think that's just about being intellectually open. I'm a believer in openness, and I like ideas.
I completely agree. I think you should be perfectly free to express yourself exactly how you see fit. My problem is how you see fit with some of the things that you say. And we've been through a lot of them. And I think people who don't know you very well will have been shocked in parts and surprised in other parts. But in totality, they can see you for what you are. I think we've got a lot nearer to what the real Nick Fuentes is in the last 2 hours than we probably have seen from your other recent interviews. Would you agree?
No, I mean, the clip thing, we've done the clip thing. We've all seen the clip show. Everyone's seen the clips. You think you're the first one to do the ADL rap sheet. So here you said this, and then here you said that. I've been playing that game for 10 years. So this is honestly more of the same, to tell you the truth.
Nick Fuentes, I appreciate you coming on Uncensored. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, my thanks to Nick Fuentes, and my thanks to the hundreds of thousands of you watching this special live episode of Piers Morgan Uncensored. As I said during the interview, I think it was firm but fair, but you can all make up your own minds. If you like what you do, please like and subscribe the channel so that we can keep doing it. I'm back tomorrow. Until then, whatever you're up to, keep it uncensored.
Dude, that was not uncensored, bro. They completely, they edited that shit out, dude. Unbelievable, man. Unreal. What an episode. What a great episode. Getting into this whole thing with Nick and Piers, you know, it is I don't know. I feel like Nick wiped the floor with him on this debate. I think that he did a really good job, and I think that he totally wiped the floor with Piers Morgan. You know, I feel that Piers Morgan just was typically playing that total gotcha questionnaire, pulling up the clips. It wasn't really a debate. It wasn't they debated the topics of certain things, but it was just like, it just felt that, like, with this interview with Piers and Nick, was that Piers was kind of being like the gay liberal grandpa that is basically telling Nick what you can and cannot say and all this shit. And I think Nick was just busting balls and joking when he openly admitted, like, yeah, I'm a like, whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I think that, I don't know. And then you have, like, recently, like, with Megyn Kelly, she's also saying that this is so dumb by Piers to have Nick Fuentes on and platform this guy. And it's just so silly. It's so dumb. So I don't know. It's just gonna make his popularity even more. It's just gonna make him even more popular with this episode, with this show, with the interview. Let me know what you guys think. If you think this is gonna help Nick, or if you think it's gonna hurt him. I think it's gonna definitely help him. But yeah. So, let's see. There's one more video that I actually wanted to watch. I wanted to watch this one video that I was checking out. Since we're off that now, we'll go into, I want to watch this video with Tyler Oliveira. Tyler Oliveira had a good video. He was actually in Minnesota. So for those of you who haven't seen with what's happening with Minnesota, there's a lot of Somalians obviously there that are pissed off for being called out due to the billions of dollars of corruption that's happening in Minnesota. And basically Tyler Oliveira went there to go have a discussion with them, and it's a good.
How was life here, Minneapolis?
Good video. So let's check it out.
It's not always raining. There'll be days like this.
This way
There'll
is
be
way
days
faster.
like this.
Get everybody Skechers Slip-ins. Listen to me, people!
The perfect holiday gift. Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins.
How was life here, Minneapolis?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, ya Allah.
This is Little Mogadishu, Minneapolis, the unofficial capital of the 100,000 plus Somalis that have made Minnesota their home, fleeing the war-torn Somalia since the 90s, and attracted by Minnesota's refugee programs, job opportunities, a generous welfare system, pre-existing Somali community, and the welcoming, hospitable Minnesotan spirit. But not everyone wants them here.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars. Their country stinks.
The president says he doesn't want any
Fighting
Somalis
words.
living in the U.S. after a few dozen were implicated in a COVID relief fraud case.
I got nothing to do personally. I've been working all my life hard.
They believe the fraud could extend beyond $6.5 billion just in the time period where Tim Walz has taken office. 78 people have been charged at this point. 77 of them are small.
With an estimated one.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of cash. That's it's a bit of a problem.
$1 billion+ stolen from welfare programs designed to feed the hungry, housing stabilization, and treat autistic kids. Is this the result of a few evil fraudsters who happen to mostly be Somali? Or is it the work of a city and state's leadership bending the knee to an increasingly growing community of tribally loyal refugees that have refused to assimilate, have worked together as a community to exploit generous welfare programs, and have not been held accountable due to the fear of spineless politicians being called racist and potentially losing the votes of the Somali community they know they'll need to get reelected?
Somali people have been an extraordinary benefit.
They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you.
Anyone who looks like me are scared right now.
The fear comes as the Somali community here is breaking.
See, this is the problem. Now they're playing into this bullshit of like people who look like, shut the fuck up, dude. Nobody fucking can. Dude, you guys laundered billions of dollars and sent it to a terrorist group out in Somalia called Al-Shabaab, where they literally hate America and they hate America, and they're a terrorist group that kills people. Minnesota taxpayer dollars funded that.
For a surge of ICE agents cracking down on migrants who've been issued final deportation orders.
So I pulled up to Little Mogadishu to talk to the Somali community and figure out what's really going on here.
So this sign is in full Somali. I don't see a variant of it in English. That's fascinating. Let's see if it's English on the back. No, Somali only. I guess why even learn English if you can just read the signs in Somali? If you don't force the people who move here to learn English, they never will or will never have the need to learn English.
And my point proved itself immediately.
Could I interview you? Okay, sorry. Okay, this will be fascinating. Do you speak English? Do you speak English?
Somali.
Do you speak any English?
French.
French? Bonjour.
French.
Somali?
He's like...
Okay. Can't I interview you in French? Hey.
What are you doing, guys?
Doing news report.
Why is he saying it in an accent?
News report. What do you mean no? It's America, no? Puis-je vous interviewer en français?
He doesn't speak French.
Maku ware san kara af Somali? Okay. Thank you. This is a unique place. My name's Tyler.
Yes,
Hi. We're trying to talk to members of Somali community.
Yeah.
Because the Trump thing, temporary protected status over. I wanted to talk to people that live here. Would you be open to giving any thoughts for a little news piece we're doing?
Okay, good.
Good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Okay, see you. Nice people. But keep in mind, it says it's not safe right there. It's not safe. Whisper on the wall.
Yeah, it's a pretty good indicator that it's pretty bad. Yeah, man, this is bad. Look at Minnesota. This is a shit show, dude. Look at this. This is the great state of Minnesota. This is where it's going, dude. Wow. I mean, by a bunch of people that, like, they just look at a reporter and immediately they're not even willing to talk to them. They're just hiding their faces and they immediately are just, like, kind of shameful. Which, why are you hiding your face? Like, you live in Minnesota, dude. Like, you're a Somali. Like, do they think they're going to be targeted? Like, I don't think people are going to show up and try to take you out, guy. You're not even willing to discuss. You're not even willing to talk. It's pretty strange.
Dark Soul style. Well, we're trying to talk to members of the Somali community. And no? Okay. Okay.
And then I headed towards the riverside.
Wait, she just say she doesn't like Somali people? What did she just say?
On the wall, Dark Soul style. Well, we're trying to talk to members of the Somali community. And no? Okay. Okay.
And then I headed towards the Riverside Plaza apartment complex, known for its large Somali population, to see if I could find anyone here that spoke English.
Speak English.
No, French. Speak French.
Bonjour. Can I interview in French?
I'm sorry.
Interview in François? Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, once you start speaking French, they don't speak French. English?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous, dude. They all speak French, but so what? They supposedly were refugees that fled to France, and then they hopped on a boat and they got to America. Is that what I'm seeing right now?
Hello. I speak English.
Yes.
Could I ask you a few questions for interview?
Why?
News interview.
Interview?
News interview.
For what?
News.
Oh, news? My name's Amul. I live in Minneapolis.
Oh, he can't speak for himself?
No. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What
My name's Tyler.
Okay, Tyler. What are you looking for?
To speak to people in Somali community. I want to ask people in Somali community in Minneapolis about Trump trying to revoke the temporary protected status.
But he doesn't have authority. So yeah, I think it's rhetoric. It's not the actual policy.
Do you believe the Somali community is being targeted unfairly?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't understand why he's targeting Somalis. Somalis, like everyone, they are Americans and they have the whole right that each American has. If Mr. Trump...
Because the reason why is because billions of dollars got sent to a terrorist organization where you're from, dude, where your country is at. The people who, guess what, are Somalian that are in positions of political power sent billions. Billions got sent. Most likely, allegedly, got sent back to people who kill people in Somalia. This is where we're at in this country. And these people go, why do people not like Somalia? Why are people upset with Somalians? They're playing stupid. They know what they're doing.
Wanted my advice, I would tell him, let alone
they're not stupid,
all Americans.
They're smart.
Especially the Somalis.
I see.
They came here to get a refuge and they got one. They are contributing to the countries.
Good to meet you.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Sure.
I like to watch your videos.
Right on, man.
I was like, wait, no
That's
way.
me. You got any thoughts?
Man, it's There's a lot more to it. Honestly, what I believe, than what the headlines, the news sensation is. Well, so majority of us aren't under that protective status because we really don't migrate here illegally. Us being on the other side of the world is really not that much of an option. Right here, I think it was around 500 to 700 people, and that group of people aren't even the ones really engaged in anything.
Sure.
So I don't know what it really would solve for.
Do most people here in this community speak English?
Yeah, why not? What I'm speaking now? Am I speaking for Greek? No.
Why are you so revved up right now?
Because of
we came in here pretty civilly, and you're telling him to walk away, and he can't speak, and he's a grown man, right?
He's a mentally ill guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So,
good call.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to ask. Have you heard about the statewide welfare fraud?
I heard, but
estimated $1 billion+.
I think that one's fake.
You think it's all fake?
Yeah. No, that's.
Okay, the mentally ill guy. Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, you can't interview that guy. But the $1 billion, dude, that's not fake, bro. That's not gonna be fake, bro. You got whistleblowers that attest to more than almost up to $8 billion have been laundered, and the fact that Tim Walz kind of sent people after these whistleblowers to shut them up. It's kind of a clear indicator.
Maybe the small portion is accurate.
Sure.
But I don't think that's not the accurate description for the whole community.
If someone does wrongdoings, I agree that he be punished by law. The publicizing and finger pointing Somalis is not what we like.
A lot of people that work here send a lot of money back home to support the family.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
I know a big portion of Somalia's GDP comes from remittance, because there's no economy back there, there's no opportunities.
A lot of the ladies specifically, they say they speak French, then we start speaking French, and then they don't speak French. Then I get the Somali translation, and then they don't speak Somali. I appreciate you, by the way. Now we're having a conversation.
Absolutely.
It's tough to find people to speak to.
Yeah. I think the majority of people, they speak English, but the elderly people, they don't speak English.
Well, that takes time. Somalis came here 30 years ago.
I see.
And 30 years, it's for the history, is small period.
You think 30 years is not enough time to assimilate?
I do not agree with the simulation. I wouldn't say good or bad, but it's not be forced people to be assimilated. I can be American and be my own. Amish, and there is some.
Okay, see, that's the issue right there. That is the issue right there when it comes to when you're coming to someone else's country, you need to assimilate and learn the language. You need to understand the culture of what that is. Obviously, practice the religion you want to practice. It's a free country. If you want to practice whatever religion you want to practice your religion. But when it comes down to taking over, it's been said many times where in this particular culture, which is, they simply just want to outbreed Christians. They want to outbreed people and basically take over, politically right now. And, you see that happening, and you see certain signs that are completely, that are not in English. And that's a real issue. I mean, that's something you're not assimilating at all to American culture and American lifestyle. And it's honestly, from this guy's angle and his perspective, he's saying that things are getting, it takes time after 30 years, but things aren't getting better after 30 years. They're getting worse. So it doesn't look good.
They know assimilated.
I see. Do you think a commonly shared language would be a reasonable thing to compromise on? Like, let's say we all speak English like you and I do?
I learned English for my own personal interests. I am an engineer. In order to have a job, I must be able to speak English. Who doesn't have an interest, let them have their own language.
You don't think there are any problems with not being able to read, traffic directions or...
Yeah, if you look at Somalis living here, who are above 20 or 30 years, all all of them, they speak English.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's just human nature to sort of
That's
live
human
next to
nature.
people.
White people live to white next. I don't think that's not something unique to the Somali. If you go to the Brooklyn Park, you can see a lot of Haitian or people come from West Africa. That's not bad.
So there's studies that suggest when ethnic groups live together in one densely populated area, that they don't have to assimilate. There's no reason to sort of learn the commonly spoken language like English, for instance, or learn certain cultural norms if they ethnically pool together.
I don't agree that our community disperses. And if we live in one place, in a close place, we will be having a political say. And I would encourage that the Somalis get together and live in one place, because the MPs from that area will be Somalis. I came from Virginia previously.
Why from Virginia to Minnesota?
Well, we have more
Somali community?
More the Somali, more power. We have more political power.
More political power. Did you hear that? This is just a random guy in the street, by the way. This isn't a well-known guy. This isn't a well-known figure. He just basically ran into this guy on the street. And did you hear what this guy just said? I came all the way from Virginia to Minneapolis because we have the power. We have the political power. I mean, he's not the only one thinking this way in Minnesota. He's not.
We can have better chances here.
When you think of your identity, does it go religion, nationality, ethnicity? What is the sort of, how is it to be a Muslim Somali American?
In this country, everyone in this country came from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. We are not the only people who came from somewhere else. When we came here, we were Somalians, Muslims, and now became Americans. So we are Americans, Muslims, and Somalians.
Hey, well, thank you so much for your time, sir. You're very gracious with your time and answers. Have a great day. Thank you.
And again, just creating more division.
I do respect the guy for taking the time to answer his questions, though, and do that. Very respectful. But the guy was honest. I mean, he's like, yeah, we have the political power. I mean, he doesn't seem like he doesn't like the idea of assimilation. Like, this is who we are. We're bringing what we got here. And it's like, yeah, but if you bring what you have that's dog shit, then, it's not really going to be great for the country. And you don't even know what it means to be an American. I mean, what does it mean to be an American to you? And I do respect that he learned the English language. That's great. And that is a form of assimilation right there. But this is the problem with a lot of the people in this community. They just say they don't like America. They don't like this country. They don't respect it. They don't respect the morals and the values. And they hate the fact that this country was founded on Christianity, which is just ultimate. It's just reality. I mean, it's a huge contributor to the country's success and the way that we are and the way that we have the freedoms that we have today,
in our community, it's almost like, let me see, how can I word, since that's where they were raised, but, first generation born folks like myself
can
here.
We focus on the interview, Pasha? How you doing?
Definitely.
All right, bro.
To see you,
Great to meet you again.
Good luck.
All right. Be safe. See ya. What did the guy in the blue? Is there a problem? You guys? So we got this dude like hiding behind pillars creepily. He was definitely mocking you. Do you speak English? No English? Somali? French? Excuse me, sir. Do you speak English? French? Somali? Hello. I'm trying to interview members of Somali community, but I can interview you too?
Mainly Somalians here, but there's maybe I've seen a few other, races or whatever, but they're very nice to me and my kids.
Do most people have a job and work here?
No.
No?
Nope. No.
Hi.
I've seen maybe a few, I could tell that they were going to work, but I don't even know if they're going to work or where they're going.
Bus?
Oh.
She's speaking Somali?
Yeah. Oh, she's talking to him.
They're yelling at each other.
I think that's just how they talk, honestly, how
peaceful.
they communicate.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, that's It's not a good look.
Be pleasant.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy, bro. I be watching your videos all the time, bro.
Respect. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on it?
Yeah.
I mean, I love everybody who love me.
That's a good way to live.
Yeah.
How did this become like the de facto hub for the Somali community?
I'm not sure, bro. Honestly, shit, they just came here and took over, bro.
Notice it's very difficult to communicate with the women out here, Somali women.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I would.
Is it just part of the culture, Muslim culture?
Say no, because the men are mainly the one that speak to me.
Yeah.
You know, but the women also speak to me as well that are on my floor, and yeah, they really don't talk a lot. I don't know. I don't know.
Some of them not speak English.
Don't speak English at all. So, like yesterday, I tried to ask one of them a question, and she didn't speak English. So I think that may interfere with. Yeah, why they don't talk.
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking with you.
You
I hope
too.
you raise
Thank
your kids
you.
and you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a nice.
And then, as I was interviewing this guy, some Somali-looking gangster homie got aggro and started talking shit from behind our camera.
How you doing?
Real quick.
When you travel as much as I do, the first thing that I need.
I'm not watching ads, bro. Sorry.
Rhyme me ass, come holler at me after, I'm not sure. Nice people.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Well, we might get shot out here if we keep sticking around. Okay, I'm walking away. Hell no. All right, bro is reaching in to pull out a gun. Thank you. Oh, that's sketchy.
And then my cameraman said the Somali gangster grabbed what appeared to be a gun from his man purse and began sprinting towards us as we ran away for our lives.
Guy's gonna pull a gun on us. Some guy back there. He's really going for the piece.
Jesus Christ, dude. Man.
That might be the first time someone's fully, went in to grab the gun.
Dude, what the fuck, dude? That's crazy. Dude, that's nuts. That's dude, that is a problem, bro. That is a real problem. That's scary shit, man. That's terrifying.
As our lives flash.
My granddaddy farmed this land, my daddy farmed this land, and now I'm farming it too.
She will do it.
Dude, it's actually insane. It's actually crazy that these guys are out there doing interviews with a camera and they almost got shot. Is it surprising? No. It's just not. Is it horrible? Yeah. That's pretty bad. So, if you haven't done so, by the way, already, please like and subscribe to the show. I appreciate everybody watching, everybody, hanging out on this live stream. And it's always appreciated if you drop a follow. So, but yeah, let's get back into the video.
You're stealing my.
Just before our eyes, we headed to the hotel to cool down and came back the next day to one of many Somali malls, and I finally found a woman to speak to.
Is this your business?
Yes, I do.
How long have you owned this business?
2 years.
Where are you from?
In Somalia, East Africa.
Yeah.
Somalia.
How is life here in Minneapolis?
Alhamdulillah, good.
Alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Praise God be the highest?
House? No.
No, praise God. God Almighty? Alhamdulillah?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, ya Allah.
Inshallah. Wallahi? No. How difficult was it to start your own business here?
It was very difficult. I'm a single mom. It's very hard. I'm still struggling.
Small business owner.
Yes, I do. And that people, they supporting almost what they call every person in here, they support 10 people, 20 people. So our people is waiting for us.
So you're saying every Somali that lives here is supporting 10 to 20 people back home?
Yes, because
how do you afford that?
We're trying it. We're struggling. That people, they're not good. They don't have a place to go.
Okay, so you're one of the first women I've had a conversation with. Why is it so difficult to speak with women?
Because the culture and some people, what's going on now, people, they don't want to talk, It's scary what's going on.
Yeah. Have you heard about some of this welfare fraud in Minnesota recently?
I heard that, but people, they're not same. How many people in America or
Many.
Somali people?
400 million.
400 million.
Yeah.
We say 100 100 people do something mistake.
Yeah.
Then 100,000 people, you say all the thieves.
Sure.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
I've been in America 27 years. I never have any problem.
Good for
I
her.
have my own business. I have my own family. I never have any problems. People like me, do they thief?
Yeah, what did you do, right?
I don't do nothing. We love America. We've been in
Yeah.
America. I love it. I respect it.
U.S. flag right there.
Yeah, we keep telling people every day America is a great country. You need to work the country. You need to obey the law.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a moment of your time. Oh, yes, I can. Yeah, sorry. Do you own this business?
No, but no, 3 years or 3 years and a half.
Do most people that come here, are they Somali?
Yeah, only so.
I mean, that was respectful by that lady. I mean, good for her that she owns her own business and then she's doing well for herself. Hopefully she came to the country legally and she, you know, obviously she's assimilated. She's a single mom and she's speaking English and well, she's doing well. I mean, that's like the first chick though. It took him probably he had to run into 40 different people, 40 different women to finally get that interview. But yeah.
Only Somali mall. And even the customers only Somali?
Yeah, Somali.
This is run by Somalis for Somalis?
Every people you
I can come, but typically only Somalis come?
Every country you come here.
How is life in Minneapolis as Somali?
Life is good life.
America good.
America good? Okay.
It's good.
It's good?
Yeah, and I don't have any problem.
Glad to hear they
Life
like
is beautiful,
America.
man.
How large is the Somali community here in Minneapolis?
Oh, too much. Yeah.
It reminds you of home?
Too much, yeah.
Back home, Somalia,
Okay.
and like when I came here, it was like similar. Besides like the violence and shit like that. Over here, at least we have the police, you know.
I'm a Jew. I've lived here in the most Somali community in Minneapolis for a while now. Literally never been more welcome anywhere else in the city in my entire life.
We always help each other, and every Ramadan we always fast together. The one thing that we don't have in Somalia is a foundation, and that foundation was kind of built here from different tribes. We all communicate differently. We have a mall right here. That brings us all together, you know.
I'm got on Duolingo trying to learn a little bit of Somali. It's nice to live in a neighborhood where there's another language that is largely spoken. People have told me like, why would you feel like you need to learn another language when you're in America? And it's like, because there's a lot of people who speak a lot of languages in America.
Being Somali out here.
Dude, that guy looks nuts. I know that his face is blurred off because he can't probably asked because he was uncomfortable with it being shown, but that guy looks like he's a psycho and he sounds like God, what's his face? Oh my God, it's gonna drive me crazy. Ezra Miller. Dude, he sounds like Ezra Miller. It sounds like if that was Ezra Miller, that would be Ezra Miller right there.
For me, it's like survival, man, every day. Every day I gotta go, you know what I'm saying, look for where to get my bread from, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go out there, because I got family who I gotta support, you know?
Life easier in Somalia or Minneapolis?
It depends on the person, bro. For me, it's almost the same. So I go back and forth, you know, every year.
Can you tell me about some of the clans or tribes that live here in Minneapolis?
There's Majartan, there's Ugaden, there's Hawargid, Hawargadia, there's Abgal, Hawiya. So they all have their own different type of languages and even what they eat. Every single one of them cannot always identify each other. I'm Rahawain, for example, you know? Rahawain are kind, cool, educated, but very social people. But then there's other people that are like distant, you know, that they don't like communicating with other, you know, tribes and shit.
I was on the train yesterday and I heard someone listening to a podcast about exactly this. It was these people saying like Islamism isn't compatible with American values. That's such a distraction from the actual problem, which is that people are hurting and we used to have social programs that like tried to keep people living dignified lives.
Michael.
That guy is the epitome of why Minnesota, why that is happening to where it's being overrun and that state is being taken over by Somalians. I mean, it's been mentioned in this video. They even say like, yeah, we're taking over, like political power. We're taking over. Like that guy who's weak, who's like, yeah, we had social services and it was so nice and it was sweet. Yeah. And guess what happened? You had not-for-profits as well that were supposed to be funding children to basically feed starving children, but where did the money go? It went to terrorist organizations. So how'd that work out for you?
sure, like, we spread peace and love, tranquility, you know? So we're willing to, like, give is how you treat people around here, you know what I'm saying? Respect, you give respect, you get respect, you know what I'm saying?
You will know what tribe you're from, you know? That's how they taught me who I am, you know? Because if you don't know your tribe, people will make fun of you. People that come from Somalia and Africa, they kind of talk down on us because we're born in America. They don't like that.
I see.
That's why Somali people don't succeed in Somalia, because they have that jealousy and hate towards each other.
What are your thoughts on some of the fraud related to like the autism, the feeding the children? Have you heard about that?
Of course I heard that, my friend, but to me, those cases is individual persons. So everybody has to pay the
Dude, it's the whole system, bro. It's the whole system that's the issue. It's not just, oh, it was just one guy money laundering $250 million or up to $1 billion. You think it was just one guy? You think one guy? No, there's hundreds of people on these budgets, on these spreadsheets, on where the money's going, how much money. It's not just one fucking guy. It's hundreds of fucking people, thousands of people in the political realm involved with this shit. I mean, it goes all the way to the tippy top with Tim Walz. It's not just one guy.
Guys, this is America, you know? America don't charge community or family for a crime that one person committed. Individuals is responsible for this crime, not the whole community. I got nothing to do personally. I've been working all my life hard. I fled Somalia when I was like 14, I think.
14, okay.
Yeah, I've been here 25 years, so Somalia and United States is the same to me.
Understood.
And I love both. It's part of my life.
It's home.
Yeah, it's home. We're peaceful people. We came here for peace. We ran away a war, you know? We love everywhere is a peace, especially Minnesota. It's one of the biggest states welcome us.
With members of the Somali community understandably defensive that the blame is being placed on the community as a whole, when you consider the $14 million fraud scheme involving autism treatment centers, where parents were reportedly paid kickbacks to enroll their children in fake treatment centers, one must wonder to what degree this fraud goes beyond a few dozen individuals. So I met up with Minnesotan journalist Dustin Grage and Senator Michael Holmes to hear their thoughts on this Somali fraud scandal.
Damn, dude, he got the senators and he's got the lawyers involved, bro. Yeah, dude, they're gonna be, I think, honestly blunt. Let's see what they say.
But real quick,
Don't wait with me, you always fucking saying.
There are some things
Jesus
so
Christ.
insane YouTube won't let us upload.
Get it up and show them that pussy.
Is this legal? But luckily, you can watch it all on patreon.com/Tyler Oliveira and get
Go check
early
it out,
access
guys.
to these videos for $5 a month. Thank you for your support. Back to Little Somalia.
Justin,
the
tell me
man.
about the Somali fraud in the state of Minnesota right now and what that term means.
Probably the biggest one everyone's familiar with is Feeding Our Future, which is the nation's largest COVID fraud scheme. Originally reported at $250 million. I believe it's now around $300 million right now. And what that case ended up being was a fraud case for hungry kids. So this is during COVID. Everyone's out of school. They set up these feeding centers all across the state. And ultimately, we're getting payments out to these feeding centers, but kids aren't actually being fed. They're just reporting fake numbers, fake names, and then ultimately out goes $300 million.
And where are we in front of?
This is the Hennepin County government.
Dude, that is so bad. That is so bad. What the ironic thing is that there are so many Minnesotans. So it was Minnesota parents that were like putting fake names and shit to get like kickbacks. To have these welfare programs. And dude, this is just ultimately leads to the crumbling and the demise of a city. Dude, this is how we're going to end up like Rome.
Center. This is where the district court judge allowed a fraudster for $7.2 million in fraud to go completely scot-free. She just didn't like the ruling that the jurors came back with.
There's nothing illegal about what the judge did. They can overturn this. Granted, was it a horrible decision? Should it be appealed? And is it being appealed? Absolutely, but it has to be prevented from happening in the future.
Is our judicial system compromised right now? What's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Our justices are allowed to just decide these things on a whim. They have no accountability to the people, and the people of Minnesota are getting defrauded and have no recourse.
78 people have been charged at this point. 77 of them are small. There's one white woman at the top, defendant one, lady by the name of Amy Bach, kind of the mastermind behind the scheme, but we very well may exceed over 100 people charged. Just recently, we just saw the 78th one, and that individual was actually charging for more people being fed in a town in northern Minnesota, double the amount of the actual population of the city. So very clearly we have a fraud problem there. But actually, Senator Omar...
Dude, bro. Dude, you think that Senator Omar he knows about this shit? You think Tim Walz knows about this shit? You think these fuckers know? I think they know, bro.
Fatah ended up coming out publicly and advocating for the Somali community, saying you're all a bunch of racists. Our state government is racist. They end up blocking it, and
this is where they go into that play, man. They always say, they're like, oh, racist. You talking about us laundering billions of dollars? No, that's just racism, bro. That's just racist talk, dude. Don't talk about that. We don't talk. We don't talk about that. That's racist talk.
They win their court case, and actually Omar Fatah praises Feeding Our Future for all the good work they're doing and working with Amy Bach and all their team to actually win this court case and prevent the stop payments from occurring. It continues on, and $300 million down the line later, we continue with the fraud.
Is it Somali fraud because the majority of defendants right now are found to have been from the Somali community?
Yeah, I think that's where the tagline comes from. Honestly, there's a lot of fraud in DHS from top to bottom to begin with. That's getting a lot of press because of the Somali fraud, we're calling it, because honestly, so many Feeding Our Future came out, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what everyone's looking at right now.
Now, granted, are white people also committing fraud through Medicaid? Absolutely. Sure. And they should be charged and tried as well. But in particular, I mean, we're talking about, 100,000 Somalis in the state, 5 million people. It's still a very small subsect of the population. At least over 50% of the fraud is coming from one community.
How have you guys sort of discovered the extent of this fraud?
Minnesota House of Representatives has created a fraud committee. So many whistleblowers have come forward to that committee to testify, and we have DHS whistleblowers coming forward. People from the Somali community are coming forward and really exposing what this is. And unfortunately, the state is not doing a great job of these investigations.
So we're actually going to go in and look at some of these past cases with that judge, and in particular, one exhibit where wire transfers were occurring overseas. And now brings us back to Al-Shabaab. Were some of these payments going to hawalas, is what they're called. So in Somalia, they don't have banks. They have hawalas.
The average working class guy right now.
Hawalas, dude. Horseshit, it's so bad. Hawalas. That's the name of your bank?
Working his ass off. That money's coming out of his pocket to fund who knows what at this point?
Yeah, and it's in the worst possible way. We have families with autistic children, with disabled children who aren't getting services because other families in the state are deciding to lie and say, oh, I have an autistic child, and they get a kickback. Then money is getting shipped out overseas, and we don't know where that goes, and we're finding out that some of it is unfortunately getting sent to terror networks, and it's a real problem.
How did it take this long to identify this widespread fraud?
Let's go back to 2014. A program called CCAP, basically child care assistance. So Somali daycare centers ended up popping up everywhere, and a lot of the same exact issues. Fake names being submitted, fake billing hours, everything. We noticed that a lot of that money was being wire transferred over to Somalia and the Horn of Africa. Fast forward to 2018, it ended up not being wire transfers anymore because we ended up catching that. It ended up being bags of cash. In this case, $1 million being stuffed into a suitcase and trying to be transported over to the Horn of Africa. And it was tied to CCAP, the child care fraud program. As well, vulnerable adults who can't get around or might have mental health issues and they need assistance in their homes. These individuals are also fraudulently being billed, and we just had another one happen last week where an individual actually was walked in on and they found them dead. This individual had schizophrenia and a bunch of different issues. That individual had been deceased for a while, and they were collecting money on his behalf, billing 12 hours a day. But then the individual, his name was Muhammad, ended up saying that, oh yeah, I saw him last alive the morning before, which was clearly a lie. This individual, according to the report, had been deceased for a while. We have autism centers around this.
Dude, that is so bad. Dude, literally the guy was dead probably for weeks, probably for a month. Disgusting. That place must have smelled so bad, dude. Oh my God. But when it comes to money and you're just, doing fraudulent money laundering schemes and accounts, but Jesus, is it worth it for just Jeffrey Dahmering your apartment to where the smell is just so bad, dude? Ugh.
State being fraudulently billed made up autism cases. They don't actually have a diagnosis, but they're being charged for it.
How deep does this fraud rabbit hole go?
We're told it gets up to potentially $8 billion here in the state. And that's picking the easy to get fruit. There's really no telling how deep it is.
We would encourage the Somali community to come forward and go, we want to work with you. Let's go after them. Let's go after the bad apples so you guys can flourish in these communities. And the good news, I can at least report that is happening in many cases. And Republicans were not racist. We have done countless things to be able to bring the Somali community into the Republican Party.
How do you think Trump revoking temporary protected status for Somalia impacts the reduction of fraud happening in Minnesota, if at all?
Unfortunately, right, it's more of a symbolic step. We're recognizing that this is something that needs to come to an end. The Somali community here in Minnesota, they need to take some accountability and police themselves. There isn't a hatred of Somalians or anything like that here. There's just a realization that this has to be tackled and everybody needs to be part of that solution.
Damn right, dude. If you are calling someone out for, hey, did you guys launder billions of dollars? What should we arrest these people for money laundering these these billions of dollars, and they say you're a racist? You immediately know what they're all about. They're full of shit. And the same guys that are like, no, those guys need to go to jail. They make us look really bad. Like, they need to go. Those are the guys you need to trust.
Opposing corruption is not racist. Thank you for your work. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Fraud aside, Minneapolis is a cautionary tale and microcosm of what happens when you import mass quantities of people from fundamentally different worlds and assume they'll behave, talk, pray, and live like you do. And once you import enough of these people into the same place, after years of chain migration, they will achieve power through numbers and leverage our democracy to assert political representation and seemingly turn their generous host into second-class citizens within their own home. If everyone can be an American the moment they land on American soil, then what does it even mean to be an American?
What you see is a visual representation of we have your back, and when you come for one of us, you come for all of us.
Yarub Farid, Doka Magalada, Minneapolis.
That guy's full of shit. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, that mayor's a fucking jerk off. But other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on this situation happening recently with Minnesota. Do you guys think that, do you think, like, what do you guys think genuinely? Like, what do you guys think is going to happen, or what should happen? Do you think we should stop a lot of Somalians from being able to, I mean, I think Trump already put that ban on the third world countries from coming in. So, you know, that's currently going on. So it kind of puts a halt to that, but you know, that's hold on, let's see what this video is. Oh, wait, we just,
how was life?
But
how was life here in Minneapolis?
Alhamdulillah.
But yeah, no, dude, that's pretty bad. It's pretty that's so bad. It gets to the point where the corruption is just so obviously piss poor in Minnesota. But this dude, this isn't just Minnesota. This is also happening in Chicago. We're currently going through this with, like, J.B. Pritzker today just signed a bill that basically is kind of like treason towards the federal government, basically stating that they are kind of not going to work with ICE. It kind of actually, the bill goes against ICE in terms of what Illinois has to do in terms of working with them to help arrest illegal migrants, which is so crazy. And it's just, they're going down towards this road of we need to get free healthcare or we need to get healthcare for these illegal migrants. It's just, they're trying to incentivize illegal migrants to want to stay in the state of Illinois and in the country to keep that voting base. But I don't know, man. It's going to backfire. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to call it for a night. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, I go live on this show sometimes here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I go live on my main show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, depending on what the schedule is, what's going on with it. But yeah, if you like the show, please like, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. So